We're going to have a look at multiplication with non-unit fractions. So we can see here we're looking at 2/3 this time. So I have drawn a number line in here just from 0 to 1 to start with. Now, if I'm looking at 2/3, what would I need to split this part of my number line into? Oh, you hopefully have spotted it on the board. I've split it into thirds. So I've got 1, 2, 3. So I've split it into 3 parts. So we're looking at 2/3 this time. So I'm looking at that. I'm looking at 2 out of the 3 parts. That's 2/3. So let's extend our number line. So now I want to have a look at the multiples of 2/3. So we have one lot of 2/3 already marked on the board, which took us to this point here. So if I now want to look at 2 lots of 2/3, that would then take me to there, which you should be able to see is 1, 2, 3, 4/3. So we're going to have a look at some calculations and how you might sort of turn this around using our fact families. So we're looking at 2 lots of 2/3, which we've already drawn on our number line, and we knew that the answer was 4/3. I know some of you are looking at that and going, it's also 1 whole, which took us to here, and then 1/3. And that's equally right. So we could say it's equal to 1 and 1/3, or we could say it is 4/3. We're going to use 4/3 in the examples. So we can see here, I've got lots of different calculations. So where have these all come from? So the first one is saying, well, 2 times 2/3 is equal to 4/3, which is one that we were already looking at. So what have I done with this second one here? 2/3 times 2 is also equal to 4/3. Absolutely, you should be thinking, oh, this is commutative. What we have done is with this bit here, is the same as this bit here. And therefore, they're both equal to 4/3. Okay, this next one, I've got now 4/3 divided by 2. So what have I done? Well, I've used my fact family here. I knew that the answer was 4/3, but this time I've divided it by 2. So if I split this into 2, you can see we then have 2/3. And then the last one, again, it's using our fact family. I've done 4/3 divided by 2/3. So we knew that that was 2/3, so that must equal 2. Now I'm going to give you another model here because I find this one really, really useful. So if we were saying, well, let's have a look at 5/12 of 60. So how would we work that out? So the first thing is whatever the number is, we are going to split it by the denominator of the fraction. So if I'm looking at 12ths of 60, I need to split it into 12 parts. So we can see here that I've split it into 12 parts. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 parts. Now 60 divided by 12, so we can do our 12 times table. So 12, in fact, let's write them down. So we've got 12, 24, 36, 48, and 60. So how many times? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so each one of these must be worth 5. So we've put 5 in all of our boxes that represent a 12th. So 1/12 of 60, we could say, well, 1/12 of 60 is equal to 5. Okay, but what we're looking at here is 5/12. So we needed to look at 5 of these. So we've got 1, 2, 3, for 5 of them. So what have I done? Well, I've taken that 5 that each one is worth, and I've multiplied it by 5 because there's 5 of them that I want to include. Which gave me my answer of 25. So what else can you see from this picture? What other fraction? Let's just clear that. What other calculations can you see from this diagram? Quickly pause the video and see how many different ones you could find. Okay, so you should have paused the video and had a go, see what you could come up with. There are quite a few different ones, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. You might have said, well, we knew that one of them, 1/12 of 60 is 5. And then obviously we could have written that in lots of different ways using our fact family. You may have also said, well, I know that that's a half here because it's a half of the squares. So a half of 60 was 30 because we would have said, well, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. You may have come up with lots of others as well. You may have noticed, for example, here you could have said, well, 3/12 is worth 5, 10, 15. Okay, go off and have a go at the worksheet